Afternoon, friends. Today topic is FCRA. I'll start with a very slowly because the topic itself is so complex that when I speak about FCRA, I don't know what definition to be given or what meaning to be given. The real meaning is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, but of lately this definition or this wording has changed. It is a ferocious, chaotic, and regulation act. It's one of the very complex act which we deal, and unfortunately, it is with a ministry which is a very notorious ministry, that is a home ministry. So definitely it is indeed pleasure to come at a home pitch, but not what Mumbai Indians are doing because they have lost everything. I think I am on a home pitch where I think I should win today. So with this, I thank WRC office bearer for inviting me to deliberate on a subject which is really, really very simple, very simple, where you don't have to do anything. It is the government who is doing everything. Our interference is very less here because nothing is in our hand, everything is with them. So basically, we try to understand certain basic what are the sections, what are the situations, how the FCRA has been applied, your prior registration, your permanent registration. You should not understand why it is rejected because that rejection is really a very difficult situation because the reasons given are so subjective that it is very difficult for you to understand or for us to even debate about it. I'm not rejecting you that you should not go for FCRA. I am only referring is that this FCRA work as a professional we are doing, we should be very careful about it because this is not a normal FCRA, like not a normal audit. It's a very subjective audit and it should be done. I think I don't know, like how we have a third eye. You should all have a third eye here. As I always say that God has given us two eyes, but if you are an FCRA auditor, you should have a third eye. If you don't have a third eye, some or the other, you may land yourself into problem because you are signing the audit and the present government does not like chartered accountants. Am I right, Mr. Anup? I don't agree with that. So nice. I know because we never agree with each other. He's a very good friend of mine. We regularly meet. We discuss about it because whenever we go out in a hotel, if I order idli sambar, he will order vada sambar. So that's called friendship. And that is why I said I raised this point. When he came, that is why I raised this point. Yeah, Mr. You can give your reason, please. Why did not you agree? Uh, See what happens. I am very optimistic and a person who should be very sharp in life. If I feel that Dr. Gautam Shah, I did not know that. I did not. I'm a chartered accountant. One example. Let me take Akra lightly. That also I did not say. So that also I did not say. What will happen? I will always look at him that he do not, and there is a science that whatever he thinks, that gets transferred to another person about that person. How many of you believe in it? राजू अरे यार सी यार मेरा भी हाथ ऊपर है यार हाँ 1:30 लंच है तो मैं एक साथ आता हूँ so they are doing their job say they want to amend the law they want to whatever processes they need but it's and another thing anyone who has done landmark forum
landmark forum, they just very, if I want to become a friend with you, it is up to me and not up to you. So how that will happen? If we give to the government, we see what through foreign donation, foreign contribution, then Sir will explain, it is the money outside coming to India. So how to have check on that? What harm it may do? So I
Thank you. I agree what Mr. Aduk has said. So let me start with my belief. Knowledge which you have gained, if shared with others, the person sharing and the person receiving the knowledge, both are benefited. So here I am also benefited because when we have been given this task to present any presentation, we need to work. We need to go through all the laws so that we come here and we deliberate the issue with you. So it's a learning process for both, from your side as well as on our side. Before I start, two things. One, I'll be keeping last 15 minutes for question answer, not to worry about it. I'll be asking question, you will be answering the answers. And it will be vice versa also. And secondly, definitely before 1:30 it will be concluded. So what is foreign contribution? Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, these are the things which I will be covering. What is foreign contribution? What is foreign source? Category of person who cannot receive foreign contribution, registration and prior permission, exclusive FC bank account and utilization of FC bank account, foreigner as an executive committee member, change of name, address, cease managing committee members and directors, annual return, penalties and offences, suspension, cancellation, and registration. Why this FCA law was brought into? The very basic thing when it was brought in 1976, it was only to regulate the foreign funds which was coming to India. So that was the intention of the government at that point of time. So this is a basic thing. That is why this FCRA law came into the fold, and it started with 1976. Thereafter, there were a lot of amendments. So consider and regulate acceptance and utilization of foreign contribution, foreign hospitality by certain individuals, associations, and companies. Prohibit such acceptance or utilization for activities detrimental to national interests, organization of political nature, and strategic business. It's also sharing of information because whatever comes in it right now, if we will be dealing with it at a later stage, that government has done something really fantastic. They have asked only a single account to be opened up at a single branch in New Delhi. So whatever money comings in come to India, they have been scrutinized thoroughly out there. So that's a really good thing. So that the funds which are coming from out of India are scrutinized, and it has been said whether it is a legal money or not legal money. Cap cap on administrative expenses, the restriction valid for 5 years. Compounding of certain offenses and suspension and cancellation of registration. So this was the objective of FCRA law, and it is basically to govern the money which is coming to India. These are the history. Got it. This FCRA was amended again in FCRA 2010 amendment came. That was a law which was really a very milder law. The 1976 law was a very stricter law. So again, came into used advisories, orders, public notices were dealing with FCRA. So this all has to be brought into if you have a knowledge of it, because the act which is in there will not cover everything, because there are this a lot of notification, there are a lot of circulars which come, and basically many changes happen because of this. So that also has to be kept in mind, and definitely every year there is a effective which has been released by the Home Ministry. That also has to be for the difficult questions which are there. Exemption under FCRA, these are the people where the FCRA, like, by the FCRA Act, statutory bodies only owned by the government and required to have their accounts compulsory audited by a CG. So, And the second situation is transaction. They are the exempt entities. Definition of foreign contribution is very, very crucial. As defined, foreign contribution means the donation or these three words are very, very important. Donation, delivery, or transfer made by a foreign source. We'll be again going through what is foreign source of any article. It's been very clear that it should be any article. It's mentioned that any specific any article. Not being an article given to a person includes literature as a gift for his personal use without any accident. It is wrong, it should be 1 lakh. 25,000 was the older thing, there's a typo error here, it should be 1 lakh, please. Of any currency, whether Indian or foreign. So there is no color which is very important out here. Of any currency, whether it is Indian currency or it is a foreign currency. Of any security. So there also any security which is there, it would be treated as a foreign contribution. Following not treated as a foreign contribution, articles gifted for personal use where the market value does not exceed the sum specified by the central government, it should be 1 lakh. So up till 1 lakh rupees, this foreign contribution would not be, it should be not be treated as foreign contribution. Received from foreign source by way of fee. Now let's take an example that I have a education institution in India. There are a lot of students who comes from abroad for study in India. It's now a reverse situation. Previously, when I used to study, a lot of people going to US, UK, and all. Now I see a lot of people coming from that country to our country because our education system has really, really been a good education system, and we have a robust system which is going on right now. So when they come here and they pay a fee with a foreign currency, or they transfer the money from their homeland, that will not be treated as a foreign contribution. Because why? Because that has been specifically exempt. Received to or cost in lieu of goods sold or services rendered. So let's say that as a chartered accountant, I give any advice to it, and I receive fees in dollars, pounds, or dirhams or any other currencies. Again, that would not require. We are not be got foreign contribution because we are out of FCRA, because we get a lot of discussions has been raised by the people that we are getting this money from out of India. It's certain foreign agencies an exam. Very famous is WHO, all which are world organization which is there. They have an exam where any been transferred prohibition of needed for election, definitely. All this money because all money plays very correspondence, columnists, cartoonists, they are with the newspapers. For anybody who is having a if suppose a foreign holding is there, for this government is supposed to employ the penny corporation from the there are then I should engage in the production related to the media. Individuals by association specifically prohibited. There are specific prohibition which has been notified, and they have been prohibited not to accept any foreign contribution. Public servant, this has been just added on 29th October 2020. Any public servant, they cannot accept foreign contribution. They have been prohibited. There are there is way out where they can receive the foreign contribution, but openly cannot they receive the foreign contribution. This is very important. Foreign source. Because ultimately it is a foreign source which determines whether FCRA 2010 is applicable or not. What is a foreign source? The definition says the government of any foreign country or territory and any agency of such government. They have really broadly described what is a foreign source and who are covered under foreign source. Any international agency, a foreign company, a corporation not being a foreign company, incorporated in a foreign country of territory, Companies Act 1956 should be read as Companies Act 2013, and more than one half of the nominal value of its share capital is held either singly or in the aggregate by one or more of the following, namely the government of a foreign country, the citizen of a foreign country, corporation incorporated registered in a foreign country, foreign company, foreign trust, a society in India form or registered outside India, and this is the last is very citizen of a foreign country. This will determine whether whatever money which is coming to your trust, whether it is a FCR money. A lot of mistakes are happening. A lot of people are not aware of it because any money which is coming from out of India, it has been treated as if it is an FCRA money or it is not been treated as an FCRA money. So there's a lot of confusion and it leads to a lot of problems as far as the accounting and auditing is concerned. And many times, no doubt, still this area is not been looked after or no actions have been taken up till now because still the law is evolving in itself and still no attention has been given to this law. But as we are a chartered accountant, we are knowledgeable people auditing, we should be aware that what is a foreign source which falls under FCRA. So a citizen of a foreign country is very important for you to determine whether it's an FCRA or it's not an FCRA. Governments and all. This is only related to that. So like it's a very casual one. Like, people are invited, our foreign delegates are invited out of India. So when they have been invited, so what care has been taken at by the foreign country, the foreign diplomats who are there. So this needs to be, reported whenever they go. Before they go, within 30 days, they have to report this. There is a form which is there specifically where they have to write down that this is what they will be getting it. And first they and therefore they can accept such foreign hospitality. There is member of legislation as well as a political party, judges, government servants, employees of any corporation or any other body corporate, and FC2 online form for grant of permission should be audited 2 weeks before application. Now, whenever you make an application, there are specific there is a foreign contribution there which is FCRA Act, and you need to be very specific. In the olden days, we were allowed to visit the FCRA office at New Delhi, and we used to really be given a chance to represent ourselves. And before any rejection was there, official notice or you something was delivered to you, argument, and thereafter the rejection passed. But nowadays, we are not allowed. I have see that once one you make one small mistake that you make, it leads to a rejection. And once you get a FCR registration, but because once the foreign contribution, your FCRA form is rejected in the eyes of the Home Ministry, it becomes a very difficult process for you to be granted again a FCRA registration certificate. So once you fill up this FC, you should be very sure about what you know about FCRA and how to fill up this FCRA form. This FC2 form is, I've just discussed, it's a FCRA hospitality, which is, to be filled up with the people who are going out of India, it's political people, member of judges and everyone. This is the main form. This is FCRA regular registration form. Here, if you see the registration form which is in there, the most crucial and most important thing is the affidavit that has to be enclosed with it. The affidavit, most of the people are making this mistake because the affidavits are given to the trustees, the managing committees, or the office bearers, or the and most of the time I have seen that the affidavits which are given, not disclosures are made. The disclosures are very, very vague. Here, I need to, take some time out to discuss because this affidavit is so important that based on this affidavit, the ground inspection is done by the Home Ministry. On the basis of this affidavit, each and every office bearer, each and every organization has been done a thorough check by the Home Ministry people. Let's take an example that I have filed an FC3 form for a registration of a ex charitable trust. In that ex charitable trust, there are seven trustees, and I have filled up the seven trustees affidavit. I have mentioned what is to be mentioned in the affidavit. So once this affidavit goes to the Home Ministry department, the first thing what they do is that they thoroughly scrutinize this application with the affidavit which has been sent by you. Based on the affidavit which has been sent, let's take Gautam Shah is one of the trustee in that trust. Gautam Shah resides in Villepalla. So immediately there would be a contact to the Villepalla police station, and the Villepalla police station will be first searching if there is any record, my students, or any embarrassing things. Thereafter, they will be going to the central system. There is a central system which they have, where they will, whatever was the case is required. They go to that papers, they whether the same has been disclosed in the affidavit. For the time, no one discloses this. That is why the first cause of rejection is to it that you are not fair. But we don't understand, we forget about the wrong. So this is one point which we have seen. Secondly, what we have seen is that many are not conducive, and again that leads to the rejection of your application. The third very, very important thing that trust itself is not doing its activity for the purpose for what it has been created. Let's take an example. There is a charitable trust which is a wholly education trust. And one, so here also people don't understand because this trust may be created long back. We don't pay attention. Why? Because it's it is critical. It is zero. Corporate audit has to be done very, 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 very seriously. Trust is a byproduct. When we give it to our article class, we give it to our employee, and we were attending one case in Lalbagh office, and the commissioner of that was a very sensitive person. But somewhat he understand that was not a right audit report because he has not done the audit. And unfortunately, he officially raised a complaint to the Commissioner of Income Tax by action. The letter was written to the Commissioner of Income Tax. Commissioner of Income Tax also had written, started writing letter to the institute. Existing office. अरे देखो ना, ये पढ़ो आप क्या लिखा है उसमें। I could understand the audience might very clear to me, unintentional, and I could really sense that this guy is action should not be taken because it was not done with a malafide intent. And luckily, the commissioner, as I said, was a good-hearted person, but he will be shocked to see what was the mistake that was there. In the audit report, it was written that the audit is done on a test check basis. That was okay. I have no problem for that. But there were only two entries, the bank interest, only bank interest. That too only two times. So this is how, it's not that it has been done. This is something very, very, I would say that it should be really a eye opener for all of us. But then I have seen trust audit. I have seen how people are audited. I don't blame the professional because we all do this. And of course we don't understand how much pressure we have. We don't have employees. We don't have people with us. We have been pestered with all the compliances and everything. At the last moment they come and I don't know, like all these vouchers crumbled and then given to us. और आप सब late हो गई. Like we have to sort out the vouchers and there are no supporting. So that क्या supporting देगा? 10,500 का तो खर्चा किया है ना, साइन किया है ना. Again, my humble request to all of you is that what we get, like I don't know, like someone charges 500 rupees, someone charges 400 rupees. The latest, the on the background, we check. I get audit fees of 30 lakhs rupees for my audit. 30 lakhs. It's, it's not that it's one that and audit with me only. Whatever, so I saw it, I just it's not the very I wanted to discuss with you and I thought that very soft-hearted. We must not be doing any audits. So you must be really, but we should be very careful, I'm telling you. And it's a day where now we should be like how as a lawyer, like I don't know. I they talk to a client, वो लोग करते नहीं काम. In my office also, my lawyer, if suppose my brother comes for he just very briefly, and we, I don't, I'm also including that. So government registration where you require affidavit, other 3 years experience. Yeah. FCRA application online. After you get the credit account with the yeah, sure, yes, right. After of the local, very right. Verify the income tax records of the bank statement, everything they see whether this money is yes money or not. Again, it has been routed through something. They also okay, not well, and you get your prior permission, you get your action. Once you got it, right, the permission, okay. You cannot apply immediately. There is a time frame which has been there. Otherwise, what will happen? You file one, uh, once you get your FCI, you know, whatever changes are there also has to be notified and given to the FCRA department. Yes, okay. It was not there. Now they have come out with this FCRA, FCC, where you can surrender your FCRA registration because many a time what has happened, the trust has called for the money for the purpose for which it was there. And thereafter that purpose has become ineffective, inoperative, or they are not willing to go ahead with it. What happens to them? They don't use that money. So the charitable institution can the certificate back to the home ministry, and it is where the process is given in that process which has to be followed, and once it has been surrendered we get an order from them stating very clearly that you are out of FCRA now, and that's what it is required. FCRA form pertaining to filing an integration, please don't go with the wording integration. Integration is a very soft word. So what I'm discussing about integration, it should be all for them. Also, there are no be aware that you need to file on this thing. But after filing, wait for you to again meet with them, along with them, it's get teachable on there. Very good. That's the sixth name or name and of address within the state of association. If the name has been changed or the address is changed, you need to file a 6A form. Once you file a 6A form, you have to wait until till you wait, you get an order, it becomes effective from the date of order. FC6B is change of the nature, aims and objects and registration with local and relevant authorities in respect of association. So it's again the object clause, registration with the local and relevant residency. So again, there is a specific information form which is again been given to you, which you need to file and you wait for the order. FC66. This is where I sorry I forgot to tell you the FC 3 and 3B when you were to file. Before filing, you need to open a bank account in State Bank of India. This is again a one more exercise in itself because it's a very difficult situation to coordinate with the State Bank of India. I don't know now because hey, many people must be seeing IPL. Mr. Dhoni is promoting State Bank of India, and now I think it's becoming very effective because when this provision came, it was a horrible situation to get an account open in State Bank of India. The local branch does not understand what is FCRA, and they always tell us, "ये लेके आओ, वो लेके आओ." At a COVID period, it was getting really out of hand, and it was a thanks to like you should be very fortunate your State Bank of India's account. That was a relief people got it. That was a one step because thereafter we are going to a major step of getting an FCI registration. So before you go for an FCI registration, SBI account has to be open because in both the form you need to mention the State Bank of India account that has been opened. Against this, after you open the your State Bank of India, you need to file a FCC6 to inform the FCR department that your State Bank of India account has been opened, and there would be a confirmation from them that it has been accepted. So that till that confirmation does not come, your FCR registration application, your prior permission application does not get effective. They don't start with it. So this FCC6C also has to be filed once the State Bank of India account has been opened to intimate to the Home Ministry Department. FCCB, opening of additional. Now, let's say that we have a State Bank of India New Delhi branch. We have a trust which is in Bombay. So it becomes very cumbersome to, deal with the bank which is in Delhi. So we can open up a utilization account in Bombay by intimating that this is what it is. And this is an account which is opened up either in State Bank of India or in National Bank, any foreign bank or any of the Indian bank, which is there, it is applicable. FC6E, change in the original key members of the association. Now, originally it was that if there is a change of 50% and more, then you need to intimate. Now it's not like that. Even one member, if one trustee resigns, one trustee dies, or one trustee is retired, and also you need to intimate to them. This intimation has to go to them, and thereafter the confirmation has to come from them that this change of trustees or change of managing committee or change of directors have happened. FC form pertaining to filing an annual return. This is all very, very important. So FC1. Now this is FC1 where any article that you received, like I said that it was 1 lakh rupees by way of a gift or anything. There is a restriction out here that if it is more than 10 lakhs rupees, 10 lakhs or 10 lakhs and more, then a person has to file FC1. Now here there is a confusion. Let's take an example that my son who is studying in US and after his studies he has joined a job out there. Now he wants to give a gift to me. Now he gives a gift of 1 crore rupees to me. I don't have a son. That is, I don't have a son. I am just imagining. So let's say I'm imagining that I had a 1 crore rupees from him. Whether this FC1 form would be applicable? No, I'm asking a question. Why? Intimation of receipt of foreign contribution by way of gift. So it's a gift. That's it. It's not a foreign source. So a foreign source from a blood relation would not be where you should file FC1 form. So here care should be taken that any money above 10 lakhs or 10 lakhs should not FC1 form should be not filed. But if any person where foreign source is applicable, then FC will be filed. FC4, filing of annual returns. Now, this is within 9 months from the closure, that is 31st December. FC4 is also has to be very, very sure because uh, in the past, many people must have missed because they were not knowing that it was initially a manual filing. Thereafter, it became an online filing from 2017. So many people were not knowing. So they used to send the manual return in 18, 19, 20, and the foreign FCRA department did not intimate them. There was a window given to them. There was a window given to them to file online to regularize it, and everybody has regularized more or less. So everything FC4 is an online annual return to be filed, and it has to be filed on or before 31st of December anyhow. Otherwise, the penalties and prosecutions are very heavy, and you need to be very sure that there is if even if 1 day delay. Let's take I filed it on 1st January. There is no window where there is it cannot be refunded or there should be any exemption to that or there should be any condonation. There is no process of condonation out here. Now, this is where I will be asking you a question, please. Indian passport holder, donation in Indian currency. It's a foreign source? No. Good. Same. Donation in foreign currency?
No.
No. Foreign passport holder, donation in Indian currency? Donation in foreign currency? OCI card holder? No. Very good. I like that. You also do this way, I also do this way. So that's a law. Yes, but then donation in Indian currency, yes. It is yes. Because see, there is a law. No, no, no imagination. There cannot be any logical thing in it. Nothing works here. Donation points. So be very clear. One thing has to be kept in mind. I am residing for last 30 years in Dubai and I have my Indian passport and I send money in dirhams. I send money in pounds. I send money in dollars. Anything. It will be a non-FCRA money because my passport is Indian passport. You need to only verify that. So once you start your audit, any money which comes out of India, please ask for the passport. If there is no passport, you qualify your audit report. I understand you may lose that audit, but at least you will get a piece of sleep in the night. Passport is so important out here is that be it anything thereafter because in the past when the previous slide I said the color of currency is not very important. Color is not there whether it is a green color, red color. It is the passport which is very, very important. Any Indian passport, any money which is coming from there would be a non-FCRA money, and any passport which is not an Indian and it is given in Indian rupees also, it is a FCRA money. Please. So that part has to be taken care of. Make it a thumb rule principle and don't apply your mind there. Only see the passport. Even when I can 15 minutes here, 15 minutes I have kept. I'll be just concluding. Don't worry. Yeah. The Finance Bill 2018. This was one of the finance bill where they have really protected the government. The government has protected the political parties because if you have seen a lot of these companies which are there in India, like Hindustan Lever, HSBC, or which are, there are foreign companies which are based in India, where the foreign holding is more than 50%. If the foreign holding is more than 50%, then it would be treated as a foreign source. Now, all these people have given political donation to the political party. And here everybody was friend. No one was enemy. So they got together. So there was a Delhi High Court judgment which stated that no, this is a foreign source. And that was a very big thing. So what they did, they had to do certain thing. So they amended the act. And in the amendment, this was one of the provision. They said that, oh, I'm sorry, agar isse hua, so it is not a foreign source. Means there was a specific crowd of situation wherein If such companies wherein more than 50% were held by a foreign company, if given to a political party, foreign should say, it's okay, done. And that too amended from 1976. Well, everybody was absorbed and everybody took advantage of situation. But okay, hota hai. This is the law which was really a lot of laws came, lot of petitions were filed in the courts, lot of petitions were filed in the Supreme Court. And if I go through this, a lot of restrictions have been done. The very important restriction is that transfer of FCRA money from one account to another account. Initially, with the prior permission, it was allowed, but now nothing is allowed. I from one FCRA account to another FCRA account of another trust not allowed. Having the same object not allowed. From my one FCRA account to my non-FCRA account not allowed, because once in FCRA account it will always be in that FCRA account. So no movement. You have to spend from that FCRA account, and that's the only thing which was there. There was a cap on administrative expenses. Initially it was 50%, which was brought to 20%. I don't know how you can work, because I have seen that people working in a charitable organization are really working with a charitable hands only. What payment they get? Nothing they get, because again, who are running this charity, they also say we are running a charitable trust. So we also fall into that. So that's how it is that a cap of 20% is there. I don't know how we manage in 20%. But the government thought about it that lot of expenses was done on administrative expenses. So we cut down from 50 to 20%, and there was nothing given where some provisions where you can go back, you can request them, give a listening, nothing happened. It is 20%. The central government is empowered to direct person receiving foreign funding to not utilize it or receive any funding after conducting a summary inquiry. There could be an inquiry on our trust, and if they find that there is some problem, there's a letter issued wherein your FCR account has been freeze. So you cannot utilize that FCR account. So once that has been done, till the account is unfreeze, you cannot touch that account. Those registered an FCRA or applying for registration are requested to open. I said bank account has to be opened at SBI New Delhi branch, and office bearers, directors, and key functionaries of the registration must provide Aadhaar number. Recently, we got one FCRA order, and the reason was not given. But then, on a further request to the FCRA department, we were told that at the time when you have filed for your FCRA, you had not mentioned the Aadhaar. Now, very unfortunate part was that this application was made when the Aadhaar was not compulsory, because the form itself was not equipped to where we can put an Aadhaar card. So we had written to them on a help desk, sir, but the form did not allow you. Not very right answer we got, like what I am now saying, but it was a very no nonsense answer. वो आपका problem है. नहीं, they had written very nice language. Like, yeah, you could have seen that, you would have come back to us, you should have met us, we have done something about it. But in a way, very nicely, nutshell, okay, yeah, done. Now you don't come back to us. So Aadhaar has become now compulsory for everything, everywhere. If there is no Aadhaar, let's take a foreign national who is a director or trustee. A passport or a OCI card becomes very compulsory for them, because that is also one of the document which has to be given to them. Why this is made a compulsory? Only because of the identity problem. They need to have some identity of the person who are the directors, who are the office bearers, so that there is a track on them that if there is any misuse, they could be held accountable. This is a famous judgment of a Supreme Court where a writ petition was filed. Justice A.M. Khanvilkar, Dinesh Maheshwari, and C.T. Ravi Kumar were the judge. Delivered a judgment upholding the amendment, because the amendment of 2020 was challenged by few of the trusts being unconstitutional. The court held that the right to associate does not include the right to receive unregulated foreign funds. It observed that the amendment places reasonable restriction on NGOs. The judgment curiously advised NGO to solicit domestic philanthropy instead of relying on the foreign funds. So they are telling you, please don't go for FCRA. They are really telling you. And that is a system where it is there that how much, because a lot of funds are available in India, you try to see to that you take that funds only. Don't go for foreign funds. The judgment is likely to dramatically impact grassroots levels NGO. Because what happens? This is the judgment given by a Supreme Court, and it is a few lines which I have taken from this judgment. It's a 130-page judgment, but very nicely deliberated for each and every, points which was filed in the writ petition, and the judge has given answer to each and every point. And in many of the point, it was against the national interest, against the national interest, against the national interest. And this is what he has. They have also said that we are not welcome. Like try to situate that you don't come for FCRA because FCRA funds are not welcome now. We have a lot of local funds which are available. You try to take, ask for that, go for that, and this is where it's eye opening for us. Books of accounts and utilization of records. Yeah, again, this is also very, very compulsory. I have seen most of the trusts, they maintain one set of books only. And in that one set of books, उनका एक FCRA का एक अलग से ledger होता है अंदर. Okay, these are the FCRA income, these are the FCRA expenses, and they maintain that it's not right. There should be a separate set of books. FCRA book should be separate. It should be maintained separately. There should be a separate tally to it and a separate set of books, and it's been regulated now. An account of a foreign contribution received and a record as to manner in which such contribution has been received. So this has to be demonstrated very clearly. And the Rule 11 state a separate set of books of accounts and records shall be maintained exclusively for a foreign contribution received and utilized. Records for utilization may include stock register, fixed asset register, logbook, distribution records, and the etc. is whatever types of trust that you have to maintain that types of ledgers or that types of registers. Books of accounts records should be preserved for a period of 6 years. Here it is 6 years, somewhere it is 8 years, somewhere it is 10 years. Maximum is 10 years, so till 10 years you need to maintain. If you take all the laws into it, the 10 years is the maximum thing. Investment register should be maintained. It's a compulsory thing. If there is an investment, it should be maintained. Transfer of foreign contribution, like I said, it should not be transferred. But I feel, this is what I feel like, it's not that complete blanket has been given that I cannot transfer it. Let's take an example that I transfer a foreign fund from one trust to another. And if there is any direct utilization, which I can see, then there should not be any problem. Because law does not have a blanket thing. What the law has said, if you really go deep into it, is that A trust transferring to B trust, and B trust does not do anything about that money. Or B trust transfer their money to C, as we were doing this, in the income tax also the law has come now, A to B, B to C, C to A, that round tripping it was going on. So here also, they wanted to curtail that. But if suppose actual utilization you are able to demonstrate, then I don't see any reason you will be having any problem. If you are able to bring out that, or you need to demonstrate with all the necessary proofs and documents in with you, I don't see any reason that should be a problem. Transfer to community school for flood relief, toilet blocks, transfer to exempt entity. Now there are few things which are there where it has been allowed. But again, my sincere advice would be that these are some of the I would say reasons which are there, or where you can transfer from one to another. Be very sure that you advise your client that they only use this money, because donation is been received, why a person gives donation, so that the trust to whom the donation is given is been utilized by that trust. It is not given to give it to some other trust. That is a basic understanding. Right now, even the same situation is happening right now for the voting. We give a vote to one party and that party gets merged with some other party. Our vote has no validity there. The same concept is applicable here. We give it to a trust where we know that this trust is going to do really good work. And that trust, instead of doing something good, they pass on that donation to someone else. It's not bad, but that the donor's confidence get shaken up. It has to be used by that trust. It is, and again, I would say that I would say both ways. Like, if not giving donation to others who are required, even they are now it is in a very bad situation. Because there are certain trusts who require this donation, but they are not getting it. And as government says that, donation is ample, I don't know. I don't know if anybody is a trustee. To get a donation is painful. No one gives you any donation. खाली बोला जाता है कि हाँ चलो लेके चलो चंदा, वो बॉल लेके चलो, देंगे देंगे, कुछ नहीं. Only religious place, to the spiritual gurus, they get donations. That is the best thing right now. Or I would say any time. This is the best place because any time. I think हम लोग में गुजराती में बोलता है चढ़ती और बढ़ती जब भी ना. Everywhere God has hands everywhere. अगर अच्छा हुआ तो भी अपन भगवान के पास, अरे भगवान थैंक यू यार बहुत अच्छा किया. खराब होता है तो भी अपन जाते हैं. So this is where I think it is very difficult to get anything. CSR also, as someone will be dealing with CSR, it's again a problem. Yearly and quarterly returns, compulsory uploading of financial information in the public domain. I think most of the trusts are not doing with who have an FCRA. You need to compulsory upload your main donor details either on your website, on the FCRA website. That is a compulsory thing which is there, which most of the trusts are not doing. Applicable to both FC registered and prior permission category. There is no financial limits to be uploaded within 9 months of the closure of the financial year on the official website or on the website as specified by the central government. If you have your own website, you can upload on your website or on the central government website. What has to be uploaded? Audited receipts and payment account, audited income and expenditure account, audited balance sheet. Non-compliance shall result in compounding fees of rupees 10,000 rupees, and this is what it is. Now, quarter returns are closed, so it is not. They have been waived off. Like no, not non-filing of intimation now. Initially, it was every 3 months we need to file a form. That is now not required to be filed. So that has been they have omitted that. Now, these are certain financial action task force for the trust. Whenever necessary, the trust shall inform the ministry about the suspicious activity of the customer without waiting for annual returns. The board of directors shall issue directions regarding duties of official who shall be enforced these guidelines when they have to intimate to them. The NPO shall put its goals, objectives, and activities on its website. The NPO shall upload the details of key person associated with the trust. The NPO shall take due diligence of its employee. The NPO shall maintain the information of beneficiaries of the fund. So these are all to be uploaded. It has to be brought on record of your website and all the website of the government. The NPO shall ensure that the financial transaction involving 20,000 and above, any transaction above 20,000 should be a cross account paycheck. It can be by cash. Board of directors must ensure utilization of fund inconsistent with the objective. I think this also needs to be brought to your attention that many a time I have seen people have not seen the FCI registration certificate also. Many a time we get only a purpose in education, as I rightly said in when I started my lecture, that education trust spending in medical. The same is happening here also. They don't know. The object clause of the trust has medical. The object clause of the trust has relief of poverty. They have yoga. They have ample all the objects. But the FCRA, when you get a certificate, it can be for a specific purpose. You need to be very sure that you use that money for that purpose only. Otherwise, there is a violation. So that also has to be taken care of. That you go through the certificate for what purpose they have got. Generally, I think they get two purpose. Sometimes it is one purpose. How you ask for it. Sometimes whatever purpose you ask for is they don't give it to you also. It depends on them whether you fall under that or not. They see your track record that whether you have any expenditure of such nature or not. So be very sure that you go through your FCRA registration certificate and only use that for the purpose for what it is. The board of directors conduct a meeting at least once in a 6 months. That is, it's a good practice. Shall train its staff when any transaction in the investigation method, MSA shall inform such. Means this is what the situation is that if there is any suspicion, they will inform you by a letter. These are the key changes which has been brought up in FC4 form. If you see the older FC4 forms, there were situations wherein all the movable and immovable assets were not, taken control of because the ministry did not know what are the movable and immovable properties. So by this situation, by filing the information in FC4, now we are disclosing that these are immovable property, these are movable property. Based on that, now if there is any cancellation or any rejection, this all assets will be taken over by the Home Ministry. There is a provision, but still they have not identified the person who will take over. So for the time being, let's take that my FCI registration gets cancelled due to some or the other problems, due to some of the reason. And whatever assets are lying, my immovable property, movable, my investment, everything has been freezed. It will be the property of the Home Ministry. Wherever the money which is lying in the bank account, it goes to that bank. Let's say my account with the State Bank of India. So State Bank of India becomes the authority appointed by the Home Ministry to take charge of my asset. As far as movable and immovable assets are concerned, up till now they are not given. They are going to give it to the local authorities. They are just identifying that and they will be giving to the local authorities. And that local authorities will take over all the assets under their control and that becomes the asset of the Home Ministry. So this is the very serious thing which happens once your rejections happen. The rejections sometimes happen because non-filing from our side in a proper way. FC4 forms are not filed on time. Maybe we have missed FC4 points, and that lets your FC registration being rejected. And there are many other rejections which are there. So now we need to give a detail of this also. Renewal, as I said, valid for 5 years, renewed 6 months before expiry. If renewal application does not reach by that date, registration shall cease. If sufficient reason given for renewal, application can be entertained but not beyond 4 months from the expiry of registration. So after 4 months, before 4 months, you can again go by giving a valid reason, and if you are lucky, you may get chance to get your application reviewed. This is for chartered accountants. Since the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2000 is dealing with the national security, associations are required to exercise extreme care and caution in utilizing foreign contribution. Now, this is very important. CA are obliged to conduct performance as well as forensic audit. So we are like investigators. We put ourselves in the shoes of an investigator. We do a forensic audit to ensure that receipts and utilization of foreign contribution has happened within the four corners of law. I have used only four. Maybe I don't know what corners they are. CAs are expected to provide proper guidance to the association in maintaining proper and utilizing provided at the FCRA. CA must guide help in eligible utilization, preparation, and maintenance of books of accounts and filing the annual returns. The chartered accountants are requested to get themselves thoroughly familiarized with the FCRA law, including amendments. These are the recent important circulars, public notice, and notification. I will be sharing my slides, so I'm not going into it. Foreign contribution in kind. This has been one area which has not been taken care by the trust as well as us. Any contribution which is there in kind, it's not been accounted. We also don't know. I mean, very frank with you. If it is not accounted, how you come to know about it? Because neither it has been minuted, nothing has been brought to books, but the law says charitable institution receives foreign contribution in kind, it has to be reflected in accounts, although it has to be reflected in FC1 and FC4 under the FCRA 2010. So there is a provision, specific provision that this needs to be declared. This needs to be brought on the record of the books. How it has to be brought? Any foreign contribution in kind has to be reflected in the books of account by estimating the estimation the money value of the contribution, that is approximate value to be mentioned. Now let's take an example. I get any article of gold. What I do? I go to a valuer who is doing a gold valuation. I take a certificate from him that this valuation of this gold is valuing so and so, and it has to be brought in the books. It has to be entered in the books because any foreign contribution which is in kind has to be brought. What value? Approximate value. If you are not able to determine the value, at least put a value 1 rupee, at least you put to that. But you bring that thing in the books of accounts because that is really it is compulsory and this has to be done. Certificate to be issued by a chartered accountant. If you go through this certificate, there is one place which is very, I would say, it's really requires your attention. Just go to the, I think it's very small, I suppose so. It's small. Yeah. The sixth point, the information in the certificate and in the enclosed balance sheet and statement of receipt and payment is correct. It is not true and fair. It is correct. I don't know. Means we need to be very sure. correct, and it is correct. It really has a sleepless night because once they say it as correct, means we have as if we are dealing with it. We are part of this organization. We are certifying as if we have understood everything, that everything is correct. And this is where, I have seen that many things have faltered and many a times actions have been taken. I think, few years back, not few years, a year back, a lot of FCRA audit was conducted by the Home Ministry. I had almost 16 audits. The Home Ministry people came from Delhi and they did the audit of most of our organization. And you can see the type of audit they do. Almost 6 to 7 people come, who are the retired FCR officer who have been given this task by the Home Ministry to go and verify the books of accounts. And I into this practice for last 30 years. Every audit of mine, there was some or the other mistakes. Some or the other mistakes. And some of the mistakes were so stupid a mistake that I feel ashamed that I am doing such audits. And standing on this platform, I don't deny that I have a third eye. Definitely I have a third eye, but still I missed. So it's sometimes I don't know what to do. Means many a times I decide whether we should continue or we should not continue. Because take 100% precaution. We do the best of the audit, but sometimes we miss. And they are the people who have so much knowledge and they get, and sometimes it becomes very embarrassing in front of them. अरे यार ये नहीं आपने देखा ये तो कोई भी देख लेता था. It happens, that's it. So I would say that be very sure when you are doing this thing and appreciate, because time is not there. We also have few hands. We are also always very stressful because chartered accountant, as we have been brought up, we are a very studious people. We are, one other thing which I would like to say, please don't mind some of my language. I am from Bombay, brought up in Bombay, so I have some Amitabh's language, but I am very direct that we are chartered accountants now. We, like, let's take a thing where sir is sitting with him. Sorry, I don't mean with you, please, sir. But he will not talk to him. We don't interact. We are ashamed to ask anyone. We don't have a collective force to come together. We have study circles, we have everything. We come very diligently in the morning. We sit here. I could see a lot of people coming to FCRA thing, but that interaction is not there. Because once you interact with people, what is the difference between us and MBA? Why this MBAs people get more money? They don't have a knowledge. They have that skill of communication. We lack that skill. We are very afraid. Like I cannot ask my junior. If I ask my junior, वो बोलेगा अरे सर को कुछ knowledge ही नहीं है. But here I would like to tell you, sir, please, कुछ भी knowledge होगा, एक बार phone उठाओ, एक बार पूछ लो. Maybe you are right. Maybe I may understand. अरे इतना बड़ा आदमी मेरे को phone करता है यार. क्या है यार? Okay. I also call a lot of people. I've been very frank with you. Someone called me. What are the basic assumptions of income tax? I said, 2 minutes रुको यार. I don't know. I called up one of my junior. अरे भाई basic assumption क्या है? कर रहे हैं. ऐसे ये अभी अभी एक भी आ गया. पहले एक एक चालू कर. Then he started 5 लाख, 10 लाख, 15 लाख, ये है वो है. अगर वो भी नहीं करना है, no exclusion, तो ये. So the person who is listening to it, he said क्या तो इतना नहीं आता है क्या? तो सीए है क्या? मैं है तो सीए है. So please interact. My request to you people. Now anybody can ask me question and I have a right to ask you question. So the floor is open. It's 1:15. Sorry, it is 1:16. Please. Yeah. Is that? How to ensure from the trust point of view, how to ensure that the procedure is data forensic. Be very sure that once you receive the foreign or from talk to you, once they email you or once they WhatsApp you, they will at least tell you that, I'm so and so, or some reference they will give it to you. Based on reference, you need to go further and verify whether the credentials of it. And when you come to know that the person concerned has come from Dubai, but he has come for a few days, or some reference is received by you, you ask for it that, I would like to have your passport. So you have to take whatever the situation is. And many a time, some people don't give the passport. They say, "Nahi, kahe ko dena hai?" Don't take the donation. Ask the organization not to take it. I will be adding this one to you. There are a lot of website or there are a lot of online payments which are there now. And in that online payment, people receive donations. And there is nothing, no checks, nothing has been done. So like, that donation comes and we give an account. There is an account which is given by the trust. They write this is an Indian account and this is an FCR account. Hmm. Now the concerned person does not understand. So he may put it in one FCR account. Once you come to court, that's money I want account, which was share money. Please let me know. It's a very good question. Yeah, you're right. It's very difficult. What you said is right that, they're having a foreign passport residing in India. Again, it's a situation comes wherein I don't know, but what right now I'm thinking and telling you this answer is that no one comes and gives donation just like that. No one comes and gives donation like that unless and until this is a temple or something like that which is open to all. They come with some reference. Like, let's say like in your situation, someone must have referred that this church is doing something good. So when once you receive such type of people, it depends on it has to be a compulsory, there should be a vetting system by the trust that whether this money which has been coming with a reference, whether it's a first of all a clean money or not, it's a legal money or not. Based on that, you need to do certain further check. See, it's very easy for me to tell you, but a trust who is receiving a donation may not do it because it's a very rare commodity for them also to get a donation. So जो आता है वो ले लिया होता है, right? That's what. But I'm just telling you very practically is that, the big donors, the big trusts, they do all this checkup. And why? Because they have hands, they have system, they have the robust system that they have maintained. But this has to be done. Let's take an example. You must have done it also. Please don't worry about it. At a later date, when you come to know, please inform. That's the only thing. This is what the mistake we have done it. Try to see to it that when as and when you come to know, you inform them. That's the only thing. Right. So that's a very, very tricky situation because then what happens? They have accepted it. That's a real problem. You have to return back that money. That's only. As and when you come to know. That's it. Any account. Huh? A passport is very important. You have a saving account in India is also that is also okay. You cannot. If suppose your passport is foreign passport and you went 50 years, 13, 14 years back and you have still a saving account in India and you give that money from there also, it becomes a FCRA money. Whatever it is, the color of money is not very important, sir. That is what I said. It's the color of passport which is very important. We need to verify whether they are having a 50% foreign holding or not. 100%. That has to be verified. Undertaking has to be taken from them. Undertaking, whenever you receive, it has to be taken. Online transfer. Now he doesn't want to give the details of the part. You know, you must follow that detail. Write to the SBI to hold that account money in escrow. They will take it away in the suspense account. Write to the State Bank of India. Of course, 100%. You have no validity. You don't have a proof. Why unnecessary you take that money? No, no, I know it has come to your bank account. Now he's not giving you a passport, right? Ask SBI to transfer that money for their suspense account. They will take it away. One minute, 1 minute. Yeah, sir, 1 minute. Huh? Yeah, please. FCRA to non-FCRA account cannot be done, basically. What about, say for example, FD or any demat account which holds a single customer ID or different account number someday? Then it does it all, no, it's not FCRA investment, no, FCRA investment, interest or there's any earning or any redemption which comes from for FCRA fund also. First of all, let me be very clear with you. FCRA money cannot be put in mutual funds. In what you said then? I'm not able to hear you. Fixed deposit with the bank. You need to bifurcate this, sir. You need to. That is a separate assets for it because ultimately you need to have a FCRA FD separate and non-FCRA FD separate. That is why when you prepare a separate sets of books, how do you bifurcate that? Because in the set, I want FDs. So that has to come anyhow. Huh? The reason for which he's making the payment. So it comes in your evidence certificate. Yes. You valid explanation. Now I'll give you one incident. A car dealer, I have already gone. Taking to my 28 dealer. And he made 5,000 rupees 10 payment. Instead of making 50,000 month, he made 5,000 rupees 10. The bank had put the entire account in hold where you are holding 2 lakhs. So entire amount was held. Then he called for email. The email explanation was given to the bank. And then that amount was transferred, like 50,000 rupees in hold. And his remaining amount was made. Online transaction has come into the bank. Yeah. How are we going to track that? If you come to know, you immediately write to. See, that is okay. Yeah. If you are not able, that's okay. नहीं पता है तो क्या चाहिए है ही नहीं क्या चाहिए तो इतना मत करो यार अपने पास बहुत और काम है Please, sorry sir. Yeah, so it is. Yeah. So you have to be registered under any state law. You need to have all the registrations are clean, income tax and everything. That all should be there. Of course, religious, so we cannot do anything in India. Religious is number one charity. There is no definition also. 215 does not cover less. Any activity of religious has really been like they have been given a favorable thing in our law, so that should not be a problem. Indian citizen passport in say Canada. Yeah. If suppose our consulate is issuing a passport in Canada, then it's Indian passport. It should be a foreign passport. The Canadian should issue a Canada a passport to them. Being a Canadian citizen, then it becomes a foreign passport. Please. Now, you mean to say any bank which is given from India, something like that? Just the major issue is that on verification of the money which is coming, that's the major. That's what your passport. So when the passport is given to us, but that person says that I have given this money from my Indian account, so it cannot go to FCRA. There is situations wherein I have a purpose for only, let's say, education, and I receive a donation because they don't understand what my purpose is. You know, that also has been accepted. The bank does not know. Technically, these are some of the few issues which should be worried about. It should be there. Without that, you should not do anything. For each and every transaction, the passport has to be taken. Once it's been verified. But I can a very small, yeah, please. Promote. We will. That's the thing. I like, you know, but very important. There is one village near Vadodara, and in that village, it's a small village, and maybe some 8,000, 9,000 people are staying in that village. In one of the year, they could not receive much of the rains. So It's a very big issue solution for everybody was thinking, and this not real, all of the people kept thinking. Everybody, completed their, they looked at theatre.